I took apart these grinders and this is what I found. Well, as everybody knows, the Commandante is a very solid grinder. I personally have this one for my trips and sometimes when I just make some coffee at home. Here we have the Kinu. It's a company from Romania. This is a very solid grinder too. I took apart and I will talk about a little bit about this. And finally, we have the new M1 from Timemore. So there's a lot to talk about from each grinder. So before I dive in, there are 5 things I'm going to talk about it. Those are questions from you guys. The first thing will be pros and cons. The second thing will be ergonomic. The third thing will be features. The fourth thing will be ease of use. And finally, what does this grinder make unique or different from the other one? Which one is best for you and which one will I recommend? And this is a very open question. I will try to do my best to be as objective as possible. As I mentioned before, I love the Comandante. I had it for almost 2 years. The Kinu is not mine, but I have been testing the last 3-4 days every day, like grinding. And the Timemore, I have it for at least 3 months, which I have been using every day. So I have a pretty much experience with all of those grinders, just not the Kinu. But I asked my friend who is using it every day and he loves it. So actually, before we build, the first thing what I found the difference. Those are the burrs from each grinder. This is from the Comandante, from the Kinu, and the Timemore. Look at the difference. It's a huge difference between the burrs, which I'm gonna touch later when we are talking about the future of the grinders. Let me put together these grinders and we keep going. Let's continue. So, Commandante is very easy to build up. This is very hard to build up. I have to say, it's a really good grinder, but it's really complex to just put all together. This is quite okay. It's pretty easy, just more or less same as the Commandante, just one more screw probably. But in general, I think both of them are pretty easy to build once you clean. This, you need some time. Let's talk about each grinder. First, pros and cons. So we put this one aside. Commandante. Let's start with the cons, So, cons. I don't find much cons to this Commandante, to be honest. I think since it came out, it's a very solid grinder. I really like it. Now that those grinders came out, there's one con that I might say, I didn't find it, but it's, when something new comes that fixes the problem that it has, not the problem, but something that probably make easier your life. If you want to change your grind size, you need to open, you need to close everything to 0 and then try if it's locked and then count 20, 21, 22 clicks. That's pretty annoying, especially when you have to change settings and if you don't remember which click it is or if someone moves on, you never know. So doing by clicks it's okay, it works, but it's still annoying to open this and then try to count the clicks. It is what it is. It's still a solid grinder. I really like this grinder. Actually, that's the only cons I have. Pros, very lightweight. I think I would prefer to take this one on my trips. It's a bit lighter. The weight, 568 grams. Well, it's more than half a kilo. Still alright. I wouldn't complain about it. But yeah, still a bit heavy. I have the plastic one, so it helps a little bit to load the weight. So the second con, I don't know, maybe I have small hands, but I think it's pretty solid, but still it's a little bit thicker. For some people might be a little bit too wide to hold it. It's not so comfortable. And the handle, it is so ergonomic. One of the best ergonomic I would say. It's very easy to grind. The holder is very comfortable. It's really, really comfortable. And I will explain also why later. So that's a power. The burrs are, I think the burrs are more or less, they have the nitro blades, what they say. It's a 47 millimeters, I think, if I'm not wrong. I find, as you say, I found the same as the Kinu burrs. 1 millimeter less or more. The whole shapes are pretty much the same, so I don't see much difference in physical shapes. So moving on to the Kinu. I really like this grinder when I saw the first time. I think it was very innovative way to change the grind size on top here. It's a full metal. It's a very solid grinder. I mean, so it weighs 1,145 grams. 1,145 grams. This 1 kilo and 145 grams. Wow, I cannot stop saying that. That's a very heavy grinder. I mean, heavy means also quality. It's a metal solid grinder. So I think if you wanna have this for home, you can go wrong with this. To change the grind size, I find it is a bit better than the Commandante. Like, you know, you lose here a little bit and you start counting how much. But if you don't know, because it's counting the same numbers, you know, one round is 1, and then 2 rounds 2. But then if you want to change again, you don't know which grind size you have it, you need to close to 0 again and then open again. So you kind of don't know exactly how much you have it. I really don't like the way, even though it's outside, I like it better than this, but I think it could be better, and I will say later why. The second thing I've seen, I've seen even to my friend who owns this, to fold this one. The holder, the cup holder, I think it's called. So this is magnetic. It doesn't have screw, nothing. You just put it in and clicks in. Magnets are very nice, but I think it's the wrong place to put magnets, or I don't know. It failed. So if you're grinding a very expensive coffee and you're grinding and it drops, then you're gonna have an issue. It happened to a couple of people who I talked to, and also to my friend who owns this. And I told him that, yeah, that's one of the issues I've seen in the past. So cons is to change the settings, the funnel, like the cup holder, and I don't know if it's a cons for many of them, but still the ergonomic of this shape, it's maybe I'm doing wrong, I don't know, but I find the Commandante very, very friendly, very easy. But this one, mate, has this like one gap where you have this edge where it's not smooth. This one here, I don't know if it's my hands, but it feels like it's not very, very ergonomic, might be the word, but there's another word specific for that. It's not making round. So there's one wobble there. So I don't like it. And yeah, I think those are the only 3 things I pretty see of this grinder. That's cons, I would say. Not cons, but something that I don't like it. Pros. I find this grinder with the most ergonomic grinder to hold. It's a very thin. It almost touched my fingers. Look at this. It almost touched my finger 1 to 1. If I want to touch here, look at, there is almost 2 fingers apart. That's a very thick one. Huh? So that's what I mean when this is a bit thicker. And if I touch this one, it has 1 finger. So the Commandante is thicker. So it's a bit harder to hold it. That's what I mean. So this one is very ergonomic. The build quality is a full metal construction. I think this is a lifetime grinder. So I think you're buying a quality here. The burrs, as I said, it's quite the same as the Commandante. I didn't see much difference, like really high things that, wow, that was gonna make the difference. When I brew coffees, how does it perform in taste, which is the most important part, I guess. Pros and cons. The only thing that handling is the most enjoyable grinder to handle. And the build quality, of course. Going to Timemore. This is the brand new grinder from Milab. Let's start with the cons. There's one con I can say about this grinder. I talked to the Timemore team also about it, and yeah, they say it's something that they appreciate the feedback, all those things. Again, the handle. The handle is the most important part, I will consider, because this is the one we are holding the whole time to grind. To change the grind size, it's 1 click and that's it. But this part, man, there's still this wobble thing, and this handle is very sharp. It hurts. If you're grinding coffee, like, for competition or for our home, this thing hurts. It's not very friendly. And it has this wobble thing. It's not ergonomic as the Commandante. I think, like, handle wise, I think the Commandante wins by far. 100%. Another con from this, there is none. I would say the handling is a bit thicker than this one, but it's not too thick as the Commandante. So it's still pleasant to hold it, and personally, I don't mind that part. I don't mind. If I can handle the Comandante, I can handle way better this. So that part, we are all good. The other con probably might be, which as I said before, is not a con. If it's like that, it's quality. It's 1,118 grams. So it's over a kilo, which is not so light for traveling. But if you're looking for quality, all these things, as I said before, you can take in your trips as the Kinu. But the go-to travel probably is the Comandante. So in cons, I have the handle. I wish it could be different, but yeah, it is what it is. Pros. I think this is where this grinder shines. I think it fixes all the issues of the other grinders, which is the selling point of this grinder. I've been testing for the last 3 months. I just have so many positive things far from the handle. The first thing is the design. It's just beautiful, very simple, but yet so functional. The thing that I love the most is to change the grind size. It's here. So easy. It's like you are calibrating your grinder for espresso or your EK43, just, with the hands moving where you are. So you go 0 faster, and then you go wherever you want, or just one click back, one click down. I will change from these grinders to this grinder just for that future. It makes easy your life to adjust the grind settings. It's from 0 to 100. You can find which one works best for you. So what is something that I really care when I grind coffee? The ease to change the grind size. I think that's a game changer. The second thing I personally found very innovative and new regarding all grinders in the market is the burrs. Look at the size of the burrs. Crazy amazing. That's what I call innovation. New things, new technology, doing something else than just a beautiful design. This is exactly what happened in 2016 when Commandante came with their nitro blades. Everybody was hype about it. But this, how you change the grind setting, is marking a new benchmark. So I think that's the winning point from these grinders. I think Timemore has put very high the bar to challenge hand grinders. I personally believe this is just gonna get better. It's already great because of the settings and burrs, and the build quality is in the same level. The prices for this Commandante is around 200, 220, 230 euros. Kinu is around 350 euros. And for the Timemore, 380. What do you value most? If you value ergonomic, you can take this. If you value the grind settings, you value the new technology, the new burrs. If you value that, you can go for that. So we talk about ergonomic, we talk about the value, we talk about what pros and cons. So now we're gonna talk about how those grinders performs when you make coffee. Being honest with you, those two grinders have more or less the same burrs. So I didn't see much difference. I've done tests with just only filtered coffee, no espresso, which they are made for mostly. I have a little bit inconsistent with things. I have a lot of fines sometimes, depending on the coffee, and it's hard to find the same grind size for both. Even though they say with the clicks, every click has 15 microns, it doesn't work. You're gonna get lost. Where is where? So it's not a scientific test, but there is one test I've done which might be scientific. Take it with a grain of salt, which is measuring the extraction of the coffee, which is how I usually work. So moving to the Timemore, I've used the same system. I have used the same recipe, I have used the same temperature, and it is hard to match to them as well, as the burrs are quite different. And the only way I measured was trying to have my extractions under 3 minutes and which one will extract the most. I had a coffee which we know with a good extraction, I was having like a 1.30 and 1.35 of TDS in 3 minutes. So I was trying to aim to that extraction with all these grinders. So I got 130 with those two, 130, 31, 32, it depends. But they were between 130, 135 in 3 minutes, which was great. But with this grinder, I got 130 in 2.5 minutes. So what helped me this, it was to go finer and more uniform grind size. And after digging a little bit about this grinder, how this grind size performs. You know, if you're grinding from a big one bean to 600 to 700 microns, well, you're crushing the one grind size into particles. So they're rubbing each other a lot. So until they go out, they're gonna be a lot of fines. But in this size, very smart from Timemore. They've done it long. They start cracking from full to 2000 microns. So the particle is flowing more uniform, which is a mind blowing. I would say between those three, I would recommend 100% the Timemore. I love the guys from Kinu. I like the Commandante, but I have to choose like quality, ease of use, and performance. I will 100% go for the Timemore. So far, that's all the tests I have about these grinders. I've been playing a lot with the Commandante, with the Timemore, with the Kinu, not much as I would like to, or maybe just not get used to. But yeah, but if you have any of those grinders and you agree or disagree with me, just drop your comment. I can learn from you guys. Maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm missing. So with that being said, cheers.